Hi, this is Alex, and it's Tuesday, March 24th at 3:15 a.m. The year is 2020, and we're in a pandemic. So I think we picked a doomed planet as the name of this podcast. That might have been a wise choice. And you're listening to the Doomed Planet podcast, episode 15, Shelter in Place. Yesterday, Governor Jay Inslee announced shelter in place, and these are restrictions on movement of citizens so that we can fight this plague. The surreal scenes I have seen around Seattle this week, a lot of young people, but just people gathering and not staying fucking 6 feet away from each other, basically. Unreal. Anyway, here's what is allowed. Grocery shopping and ordering takeout food from restaurants and food deliveries, those are allowed. I despise Amazon and all that it stands for, but we do have to feed our children, and we were exploring food options. And my better half has found out that Amazon is not taking any orders and hasn't been for days, at least to our South Seattle region. If you can, though, go out and support whatever restaurant is still open. I know we got takeout from Azel's in our neighborhood is really good fried chicken. Yes, you can still go to a medical appointment or to a pharmacy, but my cousin, the doctor, has some words for you. Do not go to a hospital. The most likely place where you're going to pick something up is in a hospital, second only to the New York City subway system. We're still allowed to take a walk, and we can run. We can do running, biking, and gardening. I'm now cribbing from the Seattle Times. They reprinted a list of do's and don'ts from the governor's press release. Our representative, Pramila Jayapal, a progressive lion and one of my heroes, posted on Facebook, I think just 2 days ago, that she was hiking in Seward Park, beautiful park in Seattle, and she saw all these people shoulder to shoulder and mingling, and she was alarmed. Yeah, so that park is incredibly crowded. And that's a trend that has been going for many years. 50,000 people have moved here in the last few years, most to work for Amazon, and that makes things more crowded. These are considered essential activities for everyone's physical and mental health. You can go to parks as long as you are practicing social distancing. You can go to a gas station. I know my bros at the Shell station a few blocks away. That's my new go-to for milk and beer, although alarmingly, Columbia, which is one of the beer distributors in Washington State, says that they are short on drivers because some of them are not showing up or perhaps sick. That's why right now, as I violate for the first time my rule to never drink while recording a podcast, I'm having my last 12-ounce bottle of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. And this is a crisis, people, because it's been years since I've had that brand, but that was the only decent thing they had in the store. I'm normally in my old age a lager or Pilsner drinker. I don't like anything that's more than 6 ABV or 6% alcohol by volume. And, well, it's come to that. I also have two 3-gallon carboys of cider that I pitched some champagne yeast into, and those will be done on July 4th, if I live to drink them. Tortillas, oh yeah, it's supposed to be tortillas, oh tortillas. This is supposed to be a Okay, so you can go to a food bank. The food bank on Rainier Avenue, the line has been incredible lately. You can go to convenience stores, laundromats, and a bank. This is sort of like the post office, the theory of standing in line in a bank. You have to be there has to be something wrong with you that you can't figure out how to do that business without showing up in person. Essential businesses, pot shops are going to be open. Uncle Ike announced that he is staying open tonight, staying open next week, but please don't come tonight. He's a marketing genius, or maybe a person that's bad at PR. We'll find out in the long run. My last face-to-face encounter with another human being that's not in my family was outside a Greener Today marijuana. That's my pot shop. And, well, the pot shop that I go to, I'm no longer in that business. And there's this security guy, and he's got a pistol strapped to his leg. And he makes me call to order in advance because it's pre-order only now, and then distancing one person in the shop at a time, and that's fine. And so I stocked up. I mean, I take for granted maybe that's going to end, although that's when people take to the streets. So what isn't allowed in Seattle, in all of Washington State, now that we are sheltering in place? And again, that's a slippery slope. I mean, then you shelter in place, then martial law, and then lockdown, and then, fleets of armored vehicles in the streets. I know that the military and the police are preparing for civil insurrection. It could get really bad when we get, I would listen to the Michael Moore podcast called Rumble. And if you want those horror stories, yeah.
I'm a person. They're going to kill us all. I wish I was shorter because they like people that are tall.
Okay, here's what you cannot do. You may not participate in any in-person leisure, hobby, or social clubs. You can't play in sports games or practices. No weddings or funerals. Can you imagine? So your elderly relative has succumbed to this horrible virus, and you couldn't be there because they were in quarantine while they suffered and died, and then, well, you can't go to the funeral. Were they going to put all these people on ice? By the way, Donald Trump is president of the United States, just so we don't forget that. No religious services. Again, on the last episode, we were talking about the positive outcomes from this. Well, yeah, religion. There we go. Well, we're not going to church, Ma. What's going to happen? Is Satan going to take us and punish us? Wait, Ma. Wait, we ain't been going to church for weeks and ain't nothing happened, and I have more free time to do actual interesting things. By the way, Seattle has like one of the smallest church-going populations in the country, if not the world. We're all atheists here, motherfuckers. No museums, no theaters, no art galleries or fundraisers. Although I suppose you could do a GoFundMe pleading for money for your medical care, because we do not have Medicare for all in this country. And people are routinely bankrupted when they get sick. No working out at a gym or fitness center. I know, the CrossFit RE in our neighborhood, it must have been open still only a couple days ago. People in there as if nothing is wrong, working out together, sweating, exchanging fluids and vapors and mist. Yeah, I love that place. Part of the workout at CrossFit RE, and this is not science fiction, Paul Verhoeven shit, is that they make you go out of the place and run around the block. It's like, dude, I can fucking do that from home. Come on, that's madness. Okay, no nail salons, no barbers or tattoo parlors. So we can see where the fashion trend is going there. Sort of a late 60s hair situation, a lot of beards and long hair and stuff. No going out to bars or eating at restaurants. Gee, I wonder how many of those people have applied for unemployment in the past couple weeks. So we're restricting social, spiritual, or recreational gatherings. No sleepovers or big parties. But what are essential businesses? There's a huge database of what is essential, and basically they're giving a lot of people a free pass for this for the time being. Law enforcement, healthcare, childcare, food, agriculture. I mean, you can't shut down everything. Media, that's very important. Pot shops will be open. The corporate welfare queen and maker of weapons of mass destruction and local disgrace, or international disgrace, I should say, Boeing, has now had 26 cases of COVID and 1 death. Coincidentally, they announced they're shutting down their plants for 2 weeks, the same day as Jay's shelter-in-place announcement. Their stock price has plummeted. I guess the stock buybacks didn't work. That was just something that artificially pumped up the value of the stock so executives could cash out. Imagine that. One company that is doing relatively well in the madness of the markets, which have plummeted over 10,000 points. Yes, this is the Doomed Planet podcast in a month, is Amazon. And yeah, we love you, Amazon. It's all about serving mankind, isn't it? And nothing to do with making a profit. On Saturday, hundreds of signs appeared stuck in the ground, advertising for Amazon. At the top, the Amazon sideways penis logo. Earn up to $16.45 an hour. Seasonal, part-time, and full-time positions available. Amazon.com/Seattle jobs. If I'm not mistaken, the minimum wage in Seattle for a company that has 501 or more employees is $16.39. So, oh, how generous. If the CEO of that company was sane and not a sociopath, maybe he'd offer to double that pay. Maybe he'd say, crisis pay, we're paying $50 an hour to the people working in the warehouse. Amazon also announced that they are doubling overtime pay from time and a half to double pay. And if you're familiar with labor law, it's legally required that after 40 hours you pay time and a half. And can you imagine having to work more than 40 hours in an Amazon warehouse? You would be physically and mentally devastated. I can't imagine. They have a 100% turnover rate. They can't get people to do this job. That's why they have to fucking put signs in the ground. They accept only the most desperate people and they churn them out. No one lasts long at that. It's a horror. And so that's who we're dependent on right now to deliver the groceries and get essential goods to us during this lockdown, is this company. That's the way they treat their own employees. And we're going to support them because we have no choice. What you could do is order groceries from Safeway or Fred Meyer for pickup, or go to the store. They're still there. And those are union grocers. I actually went to Cash and Carry the other day for prepper supplies, like 50-pound bag of potatoes and stuff like that. And I made 7 32-ounce servings of pork tenderloin yakisoba and gave 1 to the neighbors and took 4 to this. There's a homeless guy that I sort of look after once in a blue moon. And I took it to his hut, which was a wheelchair and a grocery cart with some tarps over it. But the hut is always evolving. He was asleep in there, so I just, I was like, Phil, and there's some food, and I left the food for him. and, doing my small part, I guess. I just figured we're in sort of a position of privilege to have a basement stocked with food, and so I wanted to do that, and we'll continue doing that a little bit over the weeks. This is relatively inexpensive, 50-pound bag of potatoes, $10, 25-pound bag of carrots is $10, a 50-pound bag of onions, $10. The 5-pound packet of yakisoba noodles, I think, was $9. This is all at cash and carry. And, I contributed some of my labor, spent the afternoon cooking that. I think it came out to less than $2 a serving. So when I scale that up in the future, we're going to be feeding more people. And that's my virtue signaling. Oh, you're so wonderful, Alex. You're doing so much. You're saving the earth. Oh, it's 3:34 in the morning. And we're in a pandemic. And I'm in a basement bunker. And I don't hear the 14-year-old up there anymore. No more Xbox. He's finally gone to sleep. We'll be right back.
This is Seattle Fire Chief Gordon F. Vickery. Your fire department needs aggressive young men to join the team. Firefighting in Seattle is a man's job and a team effort. Action can hit at any time, and you must be ready, in top physical, mental, and personal shape.
Just had some time to read books and stuff. The other day I was reading I Fucking Warned You, Dude. I Told You, Bro. A Critical Analysis of Capitalist Production by Karl Marx. And boy, this guy, Marx, he was sure looking into the future and predicting shit accurately, wasn't he? So do you want to be intubated or on a respirator? No, you do not. And so do you know about ECMO? This is extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. Remember this, people. You heard it here first, perhaps, unless you're a medical professional. This is a relatively inexpensive way to get oxygen to the body. You shove a tube into your body, in layman's terms, and then your blood is recirculated and oxygenated and pumped back through. So if it comes to that, doctor, if you're listening to this and I do succumb to this horrible plague, I want ECMO.
No, I'm a tortilla.
I'm a tortilla, baby. I got cheese.
I got beans.
I got the little bit of meat and
Sour cream.
Looking at my fake Facebook account, or one of many, and because I actually quit under my real name, and there's this ad for Calamity Ware, which is apparently some porcelain cups and stuff that have disaster motifs, nukes going off and stuff. And wow, that's just a ripoff of Seattle Nazi artist Charles Kraft, who did Disasterware. And just eerie. And I don't know if we're going to ever do an episode about Charlie Kraft. I hear he has health problems, but just look up Seattle Nazi artist. You can check him out. So the city of Denver updated their shelter-in-place. Liquor stores are exempt if you have extreme physical distancing, and marijuana stores. I assume that's going to be the same thing in Seattle. Some idiocy from the New York Times yesterday. New York City is now the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in the U.S. with 12,000 cases, nearly 25 times as many as Los Angeles. Why? We found one glaring reason. Density. Really? Harvey Weinstein has COVID, apparently, caught it in prison. We want him to die. We have horrifying conditions in prisons. Rikers Island, which is already a horror show of torture and murder, is in trouble. People are coming down with the disease. Local journalist Erica C. Barnett is coming out with a book about how she got sober. And it's a real book, real publisher. And I had to block her on Twitter over some, her Bernie bro stuff. She really picked up the right-wing Bernie bro propaganda and went with it. Yesterday, I had to call her a self-righteous ghoul because she posted, I don't know what's sillier, the idea that recreational pot stores are essential medical facilities. Yeah, I guess she's never heard of medical marijuana. Apparently the CDC says the coronavirus survived in Princess Cruise cabins for up to 17 days after the passengers left. So I'm counting down 17 days from when I was with that security guard and then the nice lady at the pot shop. And the guard said that people were not happy that he was out there and that someone spit on his shoes. So there you go. We're counting, let's see, 15 days from this broadcast. I hope to still be here. Something going around Twitter. MCU movies ranked. Apparently that's an acronym for Marvel Comics Universe. Number 1, Avengers Endgame. Number 2, Avengers. So, the last superhero movie that I saw, Batman, by Tim Burton. I think that's 1989 or 90. I hated it. It's like everything is so dark. The lighting is so dark. What am I looking at? I'm looking at, and I had a mentor of mine, a professor of mine, once told me the angel of death is a black rectangle. So when there's a solar flare and your phone goes out, you remember that. And these superhero movies are insane. I thought maybe that would be something that this virus could kill, but I guess not. So I know we've spoken about Tom Douglas fired all his employees, but look, Tom Douglas Restaurants yesterday, thanks to all our amazing friends and customers, Grilling for Good raised over $55,000 for Food Lifeline this weekend. That equals over 270,000 meals for food banks around Western Washington. Wow, so they're serving meals for 50 cents each. Okay. Boy, that's really a reduction in the price from eating at a Tom Douglas restaurant. And again, I don't think Tom Douglas is coming back. I don't see it's a PR failure to just cut off all your employees without thinking clearly about giving them some severance or something after you have literally, he and his wife have taken out millions of dollars from the business over the years. We could have not done this without the generosity of our team. TDSK team. What is that? Tom Douglas something. And the incredible people at Trident Seafoods, Charlie's Produce, and Wines of Substance. So, yeah, they generously got their vendors to contribute food. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I think this is a tone-deaf. I mean, that's how PR used to be run before everything was changed. And it's a little tone-deaf. We're going to wrap this up and be back in a second. Rusty.
The media watchdog.
Sauce Beatty. Sauce Beatty. Sauce Beatty. Sauce Beatty. Rusty.
The media watchdog.
Well, capitalism is shut down, and I think more and more people are realizing, well, wait, everything that I've ever been taught about how to live my life is wrong. Go to school, go to some job, commute to and from the job in a gas-guzzling, fossil fuel-burning vehicle, sit under fluorescent lights at school 5 days a week, train yourself for going to some job 5 days a week. in what industry will you have your job? Casinos are closed. Although I want First Nations or Aboriginal people to have a source of revenue after getting screwed by our government and all the white people over the centuries. Why is it casinos? They're predatory. They're sick. Let's keep them shut down. Dog racing, horse racing, are those still a thing? They're shut down now. Why bring them back? The airline industry has come to a halt. And guess what? They want corporate welfare. They just want Republicans to bail them out. Why? Let's cut down on the fucking flying, people. It's a carbon disaster, all those planes up there. Let's just could use those planes as housing, or as I suggested for the cruise ship industry, send them straight to Davy Jones' locker and turn them into artificial reefs. Be really easy to do with plane. Sports are shut down. Team sports. Never been a team sports person. Are people going to want sports? I don't know. Oh, look, the baseball is back. Really? Does anyone really give a shit? I mean, already purely a television game, and even in major markets, you see empty stadiums. This is before the crisis. Obviously, fossil fuels are out, and gas prices are plummeting. Isn't that great? Well, no, people are realizing, well, let's get a fucking electric car and let's nationalize the fucking fossil fuel industry. That's the auto industry and the oil companies, everything. Nationalize and eliminate that. We also have to nationalize Boeing and radically restructure what the fuck that company is, starting with cutting back on the manufacture using no-bid contracts from the government of weapons of death and torture. Yeah, Boeing makes airplanes for, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. Since, the royal family flies free, they need a lot of planes. So they sell planes to Satanists, but they also make weapons, missiles and whatnot. What else are we going to do? We're going to nationalize Amazon. If they insist on using this crisis to exert their power and, make a profit, at this point they should be saying, all right, we're going to plow all our profits back, not into the business, but back into fighting this scourge or making sure people have enough food, giving people. But you think they're going to do that? Well, guess what? People are going to be aware of how Amazon behaved during this crisis, and they're going to want to nationalize it. I mean, what a great thing. Make Amazon part of the fucking postal service and start paying anyone that works there $50 an hour. This has been the fucking Doom Planet podcast, episode 15, Shelter in Place. I don't know what to tell you. We're it's frightening. I want to get back to a little history of Seattle and Seattle crime, and so we're going to be talking about potlatch. It's going to be a 2-part episode. Part 1 is Aboriginal excess. The natives had parties called potlatches. It was all about consumption and showing how much wealth you had and stuff. It was odd. And they, the natives, many of the Aboriginals around here practiced slavery. They're also one of the wealthiest civilizations for a long time because of just the incredible bounty of natural wealth. You go out on the beach at low tide and you have a meal basically, and then you got salmon coming in. Part 2 of that is going to be Seattle Golden Potlatch. 100 years ago or so, Seattle had a couple potlatch festivals, and they appropriated the native culture for that. Goodbye.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Goodbye, this is the end of the song.